Margie had always thought of love as something that could weather any storm, something that could carry two people through life's ups and downs. Growing up in the quiet suburbs of Sydney, she had watched her parents' marriage unfold, with its fair share of arguments, but an undeniable warmth at its core. She had promised herself that if she ever fell in love, it would be with someone who could see her, really see her, in all her quirks and quiet eccentricities. She thought she had found that person in Alex. Alex was charismatic in a subtle way. He had a calm confidence, the kind that made people naturally gravitate towards him. When Margie first met him at a friend's barbecue, she had been struck by the way he listened, not just with polite attention, but with genuine curiosity. He laughed at the right moments, and when he disagreed, he did so with thoughtfulness rather than arrogance. That evening, they had talked for hours under the soft glow of fairy lights, oblivious to the world around them. It had been effortless, as though they had known each other in some other life. In the early days, everything about their relationship felt like a storybook. Long walks along Bondi Beach, quiet dinners at their favorite Italian restaurant in Paddington, and lazy Sunday mornings filled with the aroma of freshly brewed coffee and toast. Margie loved the way Alex would sneak little notes into her lunchbox or leave her messages on the bathroom mirror. He was thoughtful in ways that made her feel cherished and seen, but as the years went by, the small gestures became less frequent, and the quiet corners of their life together started to fill with tension. Work had become more demanding for both of them, Alex with his promotion at a tech firm, Margie with her role in a non-profit organization, and the pressures of adulthood began to chip away at the intimacy they once shared. Their conversations, once effortless, became punctuated by silences that hung heavier than words. Margie noticed the change gradually. At first, she thought it was temporary. Alex was under stress, she told herself. Maybe he was tired, or distracted. But the missed calls, the unreturned texts, the evenings when he would sit on the sofa scrolling through his phone instead of talking to her, they began to hurt in ways she didn't fully understand. The love that had once seemed unshakable now felt fragile, almost brittle. She tried to reach out, to bridge the growing gap between them. One rainy Tuesday evening, she found him in the kitchen, absently making himself a cup of tea. She leaned against the counter, gathering her courage. "Alex," she said softly. "Can we talk?" He didn't look up. "About what?" "Us," she replied. "I feel like I don't know, we're drifting apart." He exhaled, a long, weary sound. "Margie, I'm tired. Can we not do this right now?" It was the first time he had ever sounded impatient with her, and it cut deeper than she expected. She nodded silently, forcing a smile, but inside, a storm was brewing. She knew something had shifted, though she wasn't sure what. Over the next few months, the distance widened. They went through the motions of life together, sharing a home, paying bills, attending family events, but the emotional connection was fading. Margie found herself lying awake at night, staring at the ceiling, trying to pinpoint when things had gone wrong. She remembered their first trip to the Blue Mountains, the way they had laughed at a silly misunderstanding about a map, how they had held hands while watching the sunset. She wondered if they would ever find that feeling again. Friends began to notice the tension between them. Margie's closest friend, Lily, gently asked her one evening over a glass of Shiraz at a small wine bar in Surrey Hills, "Are you happy, Margie?" Margie hesitated. The question was simple, but the answer was not. I love him," she admitted finally. "I really do. But sometimes it feels like I'm the only one fighting for us." Lily reached across the table, taking Margie's hand. "You can love someone and still not be okay. You know that, right?" Margie nodded, tears prickling at the corners of her eyes. She did know it, but acknowledging it aloud made it painfully real. As winter set in, the arguments grew more frequent. Small irritations, like leaving the dishes in the sink or forgetting to pick up groceries, would escalate into heated disputes. Words were said that couldn't be taken back. Margie found herself longing for the comfort of silence, yet fearing it too, because silence now meant disconnection. One evening, after a particularly tense dinner, Alex finally broke the silence. "Margie, I don't know if I can do this anymore," he said, his voice tight. "I still care about you, but I feel trapped. I need space." Margie's heart sank. "Space? What do you mean?" "We can work through this, please, Alex, we can fix it." He shook his head, avoiding her eyes. "I've tried, Margie. I really have. But love isn't always enough." The words hit her like a punch to the gut. Love wasn't enough. She had devoted herself to him, believed in them, believed in the marriage. And yet, here he was, saying that all the love they shared couldn't keep them together. In the weeks that followed, they began the process of separating. Legal consultations, dividing assets, changing living arrangements. It was mechanical, cold, and devoid of the tenderness that had once defined their relationship. Margie found herself haunted by memories of their early days, replaying moments in her mind with a bittersweet ache, yet even amid the sorrow, she tried to maintain dignity and grace. She refused to lash out, refused to beg or plead. Instead, she wrote in her journal, a ritual that had always helped her process her emotions. She wrote about the love they had shared, the laughter, the warmth, and the countless small gestures that had once made her heart swell. Writing became a lifeline, a way to hold on to the beauty of their relationship, while accepting its end. Margie also sought solace in friends and family. Her sister, Emma, became a pillar of support, listening without judgment and offering practical advice. "It's okay to grieve," Emma said one afternoon, hugging her tightly. "You loved him. That doesn't make you weak, it makes you human." She threw herself into work as well, channeling her pain into something productive. She led new projects at the nonprofit, mentoring younger colleagues, and finding a renewed sense of purpose. Each success, no matter how small, was a reminder that her life could continue, even without Alex by her side, but the nights remained the hardest. Alone in their empty home, Margie would curl up under the doona and think about the life that might have been. She imagined waking up next to Alex, sharing mundane morning rituals, laughing over breakfast. She imagined the holidays, the family gatherings, the quiet Sunday afternoons on the couch. And she mourned the fact that those imagined moments would never come to pass. There were moments of anger, too, as she tried to make sense of it all. How could someone she loved so deeply just walk away? Why couldn't he fight for them like she had? These thoughts twisted inside her, but she refused to dwell on resentment. She reminded herself that everyone's journey in love was different, and that sometimes, even the strongest feelings weren't enough to overcome the complexities of life. Over time, Margie began to find a rhythm in her new reality. She discovered small joys again, long walks along the coast, coffee with friends at her favorite cafe in Manly, spontaneous weekend trips to the hinterlands. She started attending a yoga class and joined a book club, slowly rebuilding a sense of identity that had been intertwined with her marriage, and yet, even as she moved forward, she never stopped loving Alex. Not in the obsessive, all-consuming way that makes life unbearable, but in a quiet, enduring way. She remembered him with gratitude, not bitterness. She carried the lessons of their love with her, the ways he had seen her, celebrated her, and loved her deeply. Those memories became a source of strength, a reminder that love, even when it ends, leaves something permanent behind. In the end, Margie understood that life was not about holding on to what was lost but about embracing what remained. She was still capable of love, still capable of connection, and still capable of finding joy. Divorce had not erased her heart, it had reshaped it, tempered it with resilience, and prepared her for whatever came next. On a warm Sydney morning, as she walked along the foreshore watching the sun glint off the water, Margie felt a quiet sense of peace. She could still love Alex, even from a distance, and she could still love herself. And in that love, for herself, for life, and for the possibilities yet to come, she found a new beginning.